Hello, Golden State Warriors fan! We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates. First of all, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It's crucial for you to stay informed with the news daily. Without further ado, let's get to the news. The NBA offseason continues to stir emotions and spark conversations across the league. And this time, it's the Phoenix Suns making waves. After parting ways with Bradley Beal, who recently landed in Los Angeles to join the Clippers, the Suns have quickly shifted gears and set their sights on a new target, Jonathan Kuminga. According to Jake Fisher of the Stein Line, Phoenix has shown a legitimate interest in acquiring the young forward from the Golden State Warriors. Kuminga, despite his obvious potential, hasn't found the consistent role or recognition he's been craving in the Bay Area, and now, with the offseason in full swing and his status as a restricted free agent making headlines, the door might just be open for a fresh start somewhere else. For the Suns, this could be an ideal opportunity to inject youthful energy into a roster that's been top-heavy and searching for long-term balance. The interest is mutual, it seems. Phoenix sees Kuminga not just as a short-term gamble, but as a core piece moving forward. But as always in the NBA, wanting a player and actually getting him are two completely different things, and here, the road ahead might be bumpier than they hoped. Jonathan Kuminga's situation is a complicated one, and not just because of his restricted free agent status. The 21-year-old forward has spent his young career trying to carve out a bigger role in a championship-hardened Warriors squad, one packed with stars and established veterans. There's a growing belief around the league that Kuminga is ready for more responsibility, more minutes, and ultimately more money. According to reports, the Congolese forward is seeking a contract worth at least $25 million per season, a figure that certainly reflects his upside, but also narrows his list of suitors dramatically. Golden State, for its part, has been hesitant to meet those demands, leading to speculation that the Warriors might be open to a sign-and-trade scenario. That's where the Suns come in, eager to bet on Kuminga's ceiling and plug a major hole in their roster. But meeting his salary demands would be one challenge. The bigger issue lies in what Phoenix can offer in return. The Warriors aren't interested in just offloading Kuminga for cap relief. They want something real in exchange. Draft capital, a proven contributor, something substantial. And that's where things start to get murky. Phoenix, for all its ambitions, isn't exactly sitting on a war chest of assets. The team has spent big and traded heavy in recent seasons to assemble its current core, which after the Beal exit is now centered around Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and a shrinking set of complementary players. When Durant arrived via a blockbuster deal, the Suns gave up almost all their future draft flexibility. The only first-round pick they retained, the 10th overall selection in the 2025 NBA Draft, has already been used to pick Common Maluik. That means that when the Warriors come to the table asking for first-round draft capital in exchange for Kuminga, the Suns simply don't have it to give. Add to that the fact that Phoenix has no control over its own picks until 2030 due to a pick swap commitment with the Utah Jazz, and things get even more complicated. Essentially, unless the Suns can find a third team to act as a facilitator in the deal, one willing to provide the draft capital Golden State craves, this trade becomes nearly impossible to execute directly. The front office in Phoenix is now on the clock to get creative. It's not that the Suns don't want Kuminga, they really do. It's that the NBA's system of trade restrictions, draft capital value, and contract rules creates a web of logistical hurdles that only a few front offices are savvy enough to navigate quickly. Phoenix sees in Kuminga a future star, a player whose blend of athleticism, defensive versatility, and offensive upside could help them stabilize a roster that has been overly dependent on aging stars and inconsistent bench production. But even with that interest, the path to acquiring him is anything but straightforward. The Warriors are not simply looking to move off Kuminga, they want real value back. Whether that's a high upside player or a first-round pick, they're setting a high bar for what they're willing to accept. For a team like Phoenix, with limited maneuverability, it becomes a high-wire act. One misstep, and the deal falls apart. It's why league insiders are starting to whisper about the need for a third team, maybe even a fourth, to help balance the trade math. Only through a complex, multi-team negotiation can the Suns hope to get what they want while satisfying Golden State's demands. Among the teams that could potentially help facilitate this kind of deal, a few names have already surfaced. The Chicago Bulls and Sacramento Kings have both been mentioned in passing. as teams that could either receive or reroute assets to make a Kuminga deal work. But those possibilities come with their own baggage. The Bulls, for example, are currently locked in a holding pattern with Josh Giddey, another restricted free agent whose future is far from clear. They've got their own roster issues to address, and becoming a middleman in a complex three-team trade might not be the top of their to-do list. Meanwhile, the Kings are evaluating their own forward depth and weighing whether Kuminga would even fit into their long-term plans. Without a willing partner who has both the draft picks and the interest to make such a move, the Suns remain stuck in neutral, and with every day that passes, the urgency grows. Phoenix knows it can't afford to head into next season with a thin roster and no young assets. If they want to stay relevant in the ultra-competitive Western Conference, they need to strike now or risk falling behind. Time, as they say in the NBA, is both an asset and a threat. And for Jonathan Kuminga, the clock is ticking louder with each passing day. The young forward has made no secret of his desire for a bigger role and a larger contract. And that's entirely fair. He's earned the right to bet on himself. But the market hasn't responded the way he hoped, not yet anyway. Restricted free agents face a unique kind of purgatory. Unless a team is willing to throw a huge offer sheet their way, they're at the mercy of their current team's willingness to negotiate. And in Kuminga's case, the Warriors are playing hardball. They believe in his potential but want to control the terms. It's a standoff. And standoffs lead to opportunities for other teams, like the Suns, who are willing to get aggressive. But being aggressive isn't enough. You need assets, leverage, and partners. So far, Phoenix is 1-4-3. They're interested, they're ready, but without help from the outside. Their pursuit of Kuminga may stall before it even begins. This is where creativity must meet execution, and fast. Let's not forget, the Suns are operating under massive financial constraints themselves. They're not a rebuilding team flush with cap space, they're a contender trying to make all the pieces fit under a salary cap that's only getting tighter. Durant, Booker, and Jusuf Nurkic are all on significant contracts. That doesn't leave much flexibility, especially if you're trying to add a player who's asking for $25 million per season. A potential sign and trade would have to be precisely timed, with salaries matching and cap rules followed to the letter. It's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult. And the more teams that get involved, the harder it is to pull off cleanly. One snag and the whole thing unravels. But the Suns front office, led by GM James Jones, has shown it's willing to take big swings. They've done it before. The question is whether they can pull off another miracle. Because make no mistake, if they do land Kuminga, it changes the trajectory of this team. It gives them a young, ascending talent to build around a player who can grow into a foundational piece, rather than just another role player. The upside with Kuminga is clear, and that's why this story matters. He's still only 21 years old, but he's already shown flashes of brilliance. His ability to defend multiple positions, run in transition, and create off the dribble makes him a rare commodity in today's NBA. He's raw, sure, but the ceiling is incredibly high. And on a team like Phoenix, where the expectations are championship or bust, having a player like that could be a game changer. The Suns are not looking for just another guy, they're looking for a piece that can shift the balance of power. In the West, Kuminga might be that guy, or he might not. But the only way to find out is to take the risk, and for Phoenix, a franchise that's come so close yet still hasn't won a title, this is exactly the kind of bet that could pay off in a big way. It's high risk, high reward, but those are the kinds of moves that turn good teams into great ones. And the Suns know that standing still isn't an option anymore. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive dubs. Updates, let's keep going. One thing that keeps popping up in conversations around the league is how Kuminga might actually thrive outside of the Warriors system. Look, Golden State's offense is built on motion, spacing, off-ball movement, and high IQ reads. It's a system that demands patience, discipline, and let's be honest, favors veterans who already understand the nuances of NBA basketball at a championship level. Kuminga has done well in flashes, but he's also looked lost at times, unsure of his place, hesitant with the ball, and often benched during crucial moments. That's not necessarily a reflection of his talent, but rather a mismatch between his style and the Warriors system. In Phoenix, he could play freer, he could attack the basket, run the floor, and even take on more offensive responsibility without the constant second-guessing. A new system means a new identity, and the Suns could offer him the chance to rebrand himself as more than just a potential guy. He could become an everyday starter, a defensive weapon, and maybe even a secondary scorer behind Booker and Durant. The question is, will Phoenix give him that opportunity? And will he be ready to take it? Because if he is, this could be his breakout season. The narrative of a young, overlooked player finding success on a new team is as old as the league itself. Think about it, how many guys have left a crowded depth chart or a tough coaching situation and exploded once they had freedom. That could be Kuminga's story. He has all the tools, length, speed, strength, and a killer first step. But tools aren't enough. You need minutes, touches, and confidence from your coaching staff. That's what Phoenix might be offering. Head coach Mike Budenholzer is known for trusting athletic wings who can defend and move without the ball. He did it with Giannis in Milwaukee. Obviously, Kuminga isn't on that level yet, but the blueprint is there. The Suns might be the perfect landing spot for him to finally unlock his full potential. But again, everything hinges on the execution of the deal. Without draft picks or tradable contracts, Phoenix is in a tough spot. Unless someone like Chicago or even a dark horse team steps up to help bridge the gap, this may stay nothing more than wishful thinking. Still, the fact that this conversation is happening tells you something. The league sees Kuminga as more than a bench piece. They see him as a future star. From a front office standpoint, this is where the real game begins. You can talk about talent and fit all you want, but trades, especially in the modern NBA, are all about timing and leverage, and right now, neither team has the upper hand. The Warriors want to retain Kuminga but don't want to overpay. The Suns want Kuminga but don't have the assets. It's a standoff. That opens the door for a third party to play kingmaker. Maybe it's a team like the Orlando Magic, who have draft capital and young talent. Maybe it's a rebuilding franchise like Detroit or Washington, willing to absorb a contract or reroute a pick in exchange for a piece they like. Or maybe the whole thing falls apart if the right terms don't materialize. But make no mistake, Phoenix isn't just chasing a shiny object. They believe Kuminga can be part of their future, and they're not afraid to get aggressive, even if it means juggling complex scenarios. That's how teams stay relevant in today's NBA. You can't sit back and wait for perfect conditions. Sometimes you have to force your way into the conversation. That's exactly what the Suns are trying to do right now. The beauty of this potential move lies in its symbolism, too, for the Suns. Going after Kuminga is more than just adding another player. It's about reshaping their identity. For too long, Phoenix has been top-heavy, a team built on 3 or 4 stars with very little support underneath. That formula has burned them, especially in the playoffs where depth and versatility matter most. Adding Kuminga would be a step toward fixing that. He brings length, youth, and a defensive edge that this team desperately needs. Plus, he represents a shift in mindset from chasing big names to developing high-upside players. And for Kuminga, this trade would symbolize freedom, a chance to write his own story, prove his doubters wrong, and finally show what he can do when given room to grow. There's risk involved on both sides, no doubt, but in a league where fortune favors the bold, this could be the kind of gamble that changes everything. Whether it happens this week, next month, or not at all, the message is clear. The Suns aren't done. They're hungry, and they're willing to take bold swings if it means getting one step closer to that elusive championship. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.